What's up everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Is the Nintendo Switch Lite the ultimate handheld of doom for Fortnite in 2026? Or is it secretly a budget masterpiece? Before we jump into the technical nightmare, I have to apologize for the video quality you're seeing. Since the Switch Lite doesn't have any video output capability, I'm recording this by mounting a camera directly over the screen. It's a bit raw, you might see some glare, and it's definitely not the 4K quality you're used to seeing on this channel, but it's the only way to show you the real unfiltered frame rate and screen response of this device. Now, let's talk about the first hurdle, loading the game. From the moment you tap that icon on the home screen, you better have a snack ready. We are talking about a full 3.5 minutes just to see the lobby. 3.5 minutes. By the time the legal text disappears and the connecting bar finishes its slow crawl, your friends on PC have already finished their first match. It is a grueling wait that reminds you every single time that this hardware is fighting for its life. Once you finally get into the lobby, the struggle doesn't end. Navigating the menus is like walking through mud. Moving from the locker to the item shop or checking your quests feels heavy. There's a noticeable delay every time you hit the R or L buttons. The UI just cannot keep up with the modern Fortnite bloat. And here's the kicker, you can't fix it. Most platforms let you tweak textures or viewing distances to save some frames, but here, nothing. There are 0 graphical settings to change. You are locked into this suboptimal experience with no escape. As we move from the lobby into an actual match, the situation gets even weirder. From the moment the loading bar starts until you're in the game, you're essentially in a sensory deprivation tank. While players on other consoles are running around the starting island, emoting, and testing their builds, you are staring at a static artwork screen. You never see the starting island. Most of the time, the game finally wakes up and you find yourself already in the battle bus. Sometimes, if the connection is particularly struggling, you don't even see the bus. You just suddenly pop into existence already in the air halfway down your descent. You've missed the drop strategy, the flight path, and the pre-game warm-up because the Switch Lite was still trying to figure out how to render the grass. It's interesting though, once you actually land and the assets finally finish popping in, the experience is shockingly similar to playing on a base PS4. It has that same heavy weight to the movement and that specific legacy feel to the aim assist. If you've spent years on a standard PlayStation 4, you'll feel right at home here, for better or worse. It's a miracle that a handheld this small can replicate the performance of a last-gen home console. But in 2026, last gen is starting to feel like ancient history. Looking at what the rest of the internet is saying about this setup, the reviews are brutal. On Reddit and specialized tech forums, people are calling the Switch Lite version the invisible difficulty slider. Because the resolution is so low, often dipping well below 720p to maintain 30 frames, enemies at a distance don't look like characters. They look like 3 blurry pixels moving against a green background. You aren't playing a battle royale, you're playing a guessing game. Many reviewers point out that if you're playing cross-platform against PC players who have 240Hz monitors, you're essentially a moving target with no way to fight back. One point that comes up constantly in 2026 reviews is thermal throttling. The Switch Lite is a very tight package. Unlike the OLED model, there isn't much room for the heat to go. After about 30 minutes of Fortnite, which is a very demanding game for this Tegra chip, the back of the console becomes a literal hand warmer. When that heat hits a certain threshold, the internal software slows everything down to prevent the battery from degrading. This is when you see the slideshow effect. Your 30 frames per second drop to 15 or 20 during a build fight, making it almost impossible to hit a shotgun shot. The community also frequently mentions the Joy-Con drift fear. On a Lite, your controllers are built in. If you get drift because you're playing high-intensity Fortnite matches every day, you can't just buy a new pair of Joy-Cons. You have to send the entire console in for repair or open it up yourself. This makes the Switch Lite a high-risk choice for sweaty players. Most long-term reviews suggest that if you're going to play Fortnite on a Lite, you should probably use an external controller, which kind of defeats the purpose of it being a handheld. Then there's the visual noise issue. In 2026, Fortnite's map is more complex than ever with Unreal Engine 5 features. On this tiny screen, all those details, the wind in the trees, the reflections on the water, the particle effects, become visual noise. It makes it incredibly difficult to spot an enemy hiding in a bush or a sniper peeking from a window. You'll find yourself squinting at the screen, bringing the console closer and closer to your face, which eventually leads to eye strain that you just don't get on a larger device or a monitor. The general consensus from the YouTube handheld community is that the Switch Lite version of Fortnite is a last resort. It's what you use when you're on a long flight or stuck in a waiting room. It's a technical feat that it runs at all, and yes, you can still get wins if you play smart and avoid massive build fights, but the 3-minute lobby loads, the lack of graphical settings, and the fact that you're jumping straight into the air without seeing the bus makes it a very compromised way to play. You're basically playing a version of the game that is held together by digital tape and a lot of hope. In conclusion, if you're coming from a PS4, you'll recognize the performance, but you'll miss the stability. The Switch Lite is a beautiful little machine, but Fortnite has grown into a monster that this hardware can barely contain. It's a struggle from the moment you hit the icon until the moment you get eliminated by a pixel you never saw. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.